Welcome back YouTube. This is Graybeard. Thank you for joining me again in Graybeard's Garage. Today I got a little bit of a treat. The wife and I made a big decision here about 3 weeks ago. Got word of the new limited edition that Harley's coming out for 2022. And we found out that it was only coming out in 2 models. The Triglide, which is the Trike, and the Pan America. Well, we talked to the dealership. You know, here where I live at, we got a very small dealership. And it just so happened I went one day to ask her about it, the owner that is, and she goes, you know, strange coincidence. I just got my invitation from Harley to order one. And said I had a choice of the Triglide or the Pan America. I said, okay, so which one'd you order? She goes, I ordered the Triglide. Okay, great. Let me know when it gets here. She goes, really? I said, yeah, let me know when it gets here. Well, 5 weeks later, my wife happened to have a doctor's appointment in town, so we go driving by. I happened to look over, and sure enough, there was a Triglide that looked a little out of place sitting in front of the dealership there. I said, all right, honey, when we get done with your appointment, we definitely have to go and check this out. And at this point, I hadn't gotten a phone call or anything from the dealer, because I'm guessing that they were going to holler at us once they got it set up and everything. But we went over there, and sure enough, they had, about an hour and a half before we arrived, they rolled it off the truck. And apparently the truck driver that was delivering it never heard of it, let alone seen it, and he fell in love with it, and he's asking, is this one sold? Because if not, it will be. And luckily, the owner that was there, you know, his wife come running and goes, yep, I think we've got that one sold. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to, new to our family and to our garage. This is in honor of Audie Murphy, most decorated soldier in history. Y'all really need to look him up. So we therefore have named this new Triglide Audie in his honor. Here we have the 2022 Enthusiast Collection G.I. edition. You can see it is in the denim Audie green. We have the military star on the back. On both sides of the trunk it has USA. A very unique emblem on the side. Here in stencils it has HD with Wisconsin, USA. Essentially this is the Triglide Ultra, but in this special edition paint. For our understanding, there will be probably no more than either 1,000 or possibly 1,500 made in the world in this edition, so it's quite rare. The unique thing about these Enthusiast collection is they actually come with a birth certificate. This one's numbered, I believe, in the low 300s. And what is interesting, the wife and I just went on a 10-day trip from here in South Texas to northern Georgia, and every dealership that we stopped by, they're like, wow, we didn't think that was coming out until next year. So even these really big dealerships still haven't gotten any yet. So I guess you can say I'm kind of a lucky one. This one comes standard with the 114 cubic inch motor, Milwaukee 8. It is dual cool. For those of you who don't know, that means the heads are water cooled and air cooled. The radiators are in these nacelles on both sides. It does have 6-speed transmission. I've already put my Mustang Custom Deluxe seat on this one. I did that prior to our trip, and I've already attached the cereal cup holders on it. Comes standard with the alloy wheels and the Dunlop signature tires. Dual classic style headlights here in the back. Of course, your standard tour pack. And a huge trunk down here on the bottom, but more than enough storage in what you could possibly know what to do with. The wife and I filled this thing up with more than you could imagine for a trip, and it's kind of interesting how the more you pack it, the more room you tend to find. I've also added these highway bars, or pegs, whatever you want to call them. I actually took them off my Ultra because I did without them on the trip, and it's something definitely needed. I may end up doing an installation video on these. These are the more classic style, the least expensive mounts that you can get from Harley. They're about $46 a set. They're really neat way they go on. With this being basically an Ultra, it does come with the fairing deflectors pre-installed. A lot of features. The traction control, which is standard on the Trikes. A couple of modes on the traction control. The combined braking, where basically if you're over, I believe it's 20 or 25 mile an hour, the front and rear brakes, regardless of which control you depress, will operate both brakes. Of course, it has cruise. Stereo system's updated. Get it turned on here. One thing I like about these newer ones is the dash panel is white lettering on black instead of the black on silver. My 2014, I hate those gauges in the daytime. It's really hard to read, you know, especially if you have polarized sunglasses on, and the way they're set up is kind of like a script lettering, and it's really hard to see on that silver background. So go to our home screen. Got your compartment here for your phone. It's great for smaller phones, I guess if you have an iPhone, something like that, but I have a big Galaxy S21, so the only way I can make mine fit in here is to pull the foam insert out, and it sticks still about this far out of it. So it works, but I don't particularly care for it, so I've got a mount that I'm going to put up a product review on. This is a cable to link in to the USB here, and the reason I do this, not only to keep the phone charged, but they have now updated the systems where you have Apple Play and Android Auto. So when you plug your phone in, it automatically recognizes that you have one on board, and it'll bring it up. That way you can access all your apps and everything, your additional music, XM radio or whatnot through the Android Auto, which I really enjoy. I believe this is a standard 10-inch windshield. It actually did pretty good on this trip. In 3 weeks time, actually 10 days of the trip, we turned almost 3,000 miles with this thing. But all your standard controls, you have your toggle over here to control, as you can see, is move it around for your different choices. And then you have a back button, which is kind of interesting. So if you choose into music, you hit your back button, or if you want to, you can choose to reach up here and hit this one. Kill switch, of course, hazard switch, and on the Triglides, when you're running and in neutral and your parking brake is not engaged, you're going to hold down the button here until a R comes up, and then when you release it, the R stays lit, and you hit it again for your electric reverse. But it has to be in neutral, and you have to have the parking brake released for the reverse to work. On this side, your volume control, or this is actually your cruise control, your set, speed up, slow down, then your toggle here for your volume, channels, of course turn signal, high and low beam, then your horn, and then this is your toggle, your traction control on and off. And of course your trip reset and everything here. Now the things that have changed in the last couple of years that really kind of, I think we're done wrong by Harley. For some reason, I think the previous CEO was doing everything they can to save money. You notice there's no longer a hill shifter standard. The only ones they come standard on now is the CVO. That I think is messed up. My 2014 Ultra came with a heel shifter. It had the heated grips, which this one does not have heated grips any longer from the factory. I believe only the CVOs do, and that might even be an add-on. Also, another thing, you notice there's not a push to talk button over here. That is because they've taken, I believe it was in 2017, they quit putting the CV radios on them. Therefore, you have only one antenna in back. So you're talking $350 for the component and labor to install if you want CB on board. That's something I may or may not look into. But overall, it's pretty much the Ultra Triglide with special edition paint. Another thing that's a little interesting on these, it does have adjustable suspension, but to reach it, you have to pull the seat off, and then there is a cylinder that stands up with an adjustment on it here underneath the passenger seat. And to make that easier to get to, they actually got rid of the regular screw. It's kind of hard to see. There's actually a tall thumb screw about that long that you can use to access to get your seat off easily. Of course, the Triglides, it comes standard with a steering stabilizer. I'm not sure exactly when they did it, but this is kind of convenient. The rear brake master cylinder is up here on the steering neck, so it's easy to get to. And one other thing that I'm not real keen about, because I really like my 2014 has a hydraulic clutch, they've gone back to a cable clutch on all the touring models. So that's just the only real complaints I got of some of the items that they do not come with any longer. Of course, you have your plug-in for your headset for the rider, plug-in for the headset for the passenger back here. Then the passenger has their own controls for radio channel and volume, and also push to talk down here up underneath this side. So that's pretty much about it. This thing rides like a dream. I'm going to see about getting some footage of us actually riding it around. I'm hoping here in the very near future to have a couple of videos posted of the 10-day trip that we took through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. I've had 0 problems mechanically. We had one incident where the GPS that's on board kind of lost its marbles where we're going down the road, and I think it was because some kind of conflict with the Android Auto. So we ended up getting to a stopping place. We shut it down for about 5-10 minutes, fired it back up, and everything is back to normal. And then when we stopped for the evening, we're trying to find us a hotel to go to. 2 different hotels that the navigation system pulled up brought us to in front of somebody's house. It's a miracle we didn't get shot. You know, we're like in the backwoods of Alabama and Georgia, so that was kind of interesting. All right, so that wraps it up pretty much. I just wanted to introduce you to the new ride, give you an overview of it, and there'll probably be more to come. Like right now, I have, let's see, how many miles we got already? 3,224 miles, and I've had this thing in our possession for 3 weeks and 2 days. So I'm getting the miles racked up on her. So I'll let you know how it goes. Going to be putting some new bars on it here soon. They'll be arriving in a couple of days. I'm hoping next week I'll be putting those bars on. They're going to be identical to the bars that I put them on my Ultra. That way, you know, both bikes going to feel pretty much the same when I'm riding them, because these factory bars for a big guy like myself, you know, as tall as I am, these bars, they're just no good for long distance. They cause a lot of neck and back pain. So I'm going to get these bars up in the air where they need to be with a little bit more pullback, make it a lot more comfortable. So if you would, let me know how you like it. Give me a comment. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave it a like. This work that algorithm. I want to get my videos out there where more people can see what's going on. And look out through my other videos. Who knows, might be something there you could learn from. Any advice, comments, good, bad, ugly, otherwise, let me know. Thanks for joining me. We'll catch you next time.